How long your Walt Disney World vacation should be is a very, very common question. Really, I would say, honestly, that's personal preference and really what you are looking to get out of your Walt Disney World vacation. So it does kind of vary from family to family, trip to trip. However, I'm going to give you some ideas on things you should be thinking about when you really are trying to figure out how long you should go for. I would say the first thing that you definitely need to keep in mind is Walt Disney World is huge. There's so much to do. You are never going to be able to accomplish everything that there is to do at Walt Disney World on one single trip. It's just not going to happen. So just make sure that you keep that in mind when you're planning your vacation, that yes, you can do a lot of things on an average vacation, but you're not going to be able to do it all. What you're planning on doing at Walt Disney World definitely plays into how long you should go there. If you do also want to play putt-putt and visit the water parks and stuff like that, you're not going to want to try and fit that into a 4-day trip. You're not really going to have a lot of time to do all of that in a short period of time. So if you do want to do other things other than just visiting the theme parks, I definitely recommend doing a little bit longer trip. That way you can fit those things in and not spend so much time traveling back and forth when you don't have that much time in the parks. You definitely want to kind of take things a little bit slower when you're in the parks and not, run from ride to ride, because as I have said in some of my videos before, that at Walt Disney World there's just so much to look at and there's so much detail. And if you don't really stop and smell the roses, so to speak, you're going to miss a lot of that stuff. And that's a lot of what really makes Disney really great and sets them apart from the other theme parks, would be their attention to detail. And if you do have a very short trip, it's your first time, you're not really familiar with, the parks and where things are at and all of that, you're really not going to notice those great details that really just bring everything together. Some of the theme parks you're going to want to spend more than a day in to be able to do a lot of the things that you're going to want to do. Each theme park is really big and there is so much to do attraction-wise, so really it's kind of hard to say, okay, there's 4 theme parks, we're going to do 4 days, we're going to bust it out, we're going to be able to do everything. You're not going to. It's just not going to work. So you're going to want to visit some of the theme parks multiple days to be able to fit in the things that you want to do. And if you do decide to get the park hopper tickets, it's a little bit easier, in my opinion, to kind of jump back and forth between the theme parks to be able to accomplish what you really want to do. One thing personally I would really not recommend is somebody who's never gone before going just for a day. Not a good idea. Not a good idea. I've heard of people who haven't gone to the parks before. They just say, hey, let's go, and you grab a one-day ticket and you get there and you realize, wow, there's so much to look at, there's so many rides, the lines are much longer than I expected, oh, I didn't book fast passes, you're just kind of thrown in the mix and you have no idea what's going on. Disney is not a park that you can really just go to and not have somewhat of a plan. Since Walt Disney World is one of the most visited theme parks really in a year span, there are so many people there and the lines are going to be long and there is so much to look at. A single day is not really that practical for somebody who's never been there before. If you're a local and you have time after work and you just want to go there for a couple hours, ride a couple things and leave, that's totally fine. But a one-day trip for somebody who's not been there before is not really practical in the money sense, because the tickets are a lot more expensive for a single day versus if you do some multi-day tickets. So money-wise, it's not really practical, and you're really not going to get a lot done, to be honest. When you just go on a whim, you go for a day, you haven't pre-booked in your fast passes, stuff like that, you need to make sure that you are going for multiple days and you have an idea of really what they have to offer, so you're not really wasting your time. We really like the 10-day trips. We have gone 10, 8, 6, and 4 as far as time frames, and we really, for us, we like the 10-day. Not only are you getting a better deal on your tickets for each individual day, if you did watch my ticket video, you will have seen that basically the more you stay, the more you save on your Walt Disney World tickets. I will leave a link in the description below if you want to check that out. But with 10-day tickets, you are getting a much better deal on your tickets per se than if you're going for an 8, 6, 4. Whatever other time frame you're looking at, 10 days, you're definitely getting a better deal per day on your tickets. We've been able to do so much on our 10-day trips. We've been able to spend a decent amount of times at the water parks as well as the theme parks. We've also done putt-putt and stuff like that on those 10-day trips, and have also been able to do so much in the theme parks. We've been able to ride some of our favorite rides multiple times. So we really do like with the 10-day tickets and 10-day vacations that you can do a lot within that time frame, and you can do it a little bit more at a leisurely pace. So for us, for the time frames that we've stayed, that's the one that we personally like the most. I do realize that a lot of families are not able to take 10-day vacations, which is totally fine. You don't have to go for 10 days. You could still have a great time with a shorter trip as well. For first timers, I would say really 6 days and up really for first timers. If you are trying to cram a lot in of things that you've never done before and are not really familiar with the parks and where things are located and average wait times and stuff like that, a shorter trip than 6 days, I think you're going to feel quite rushed, and you might not be able to fit in some of the things that you really wanted to do. You can still get a lot done. You can really take in what Disney has to offer and not feel so rushed if you were to do like 6 days and up. I think with a more seasoned visitor, if you will, a veteran of Walt Disney World, you can do shorter trips and still, be able to fit more in than a first timer. If you are familiar with the layout of the parks, when we did go on our 4-day trip, we did have the park hoppers. We were able to do so much within that period of time, but we also have been there several times, and we knew what rides to fast pass, when to do some of the rides. If you have gone several times, you will kind of have a better grip on that than first timers, and therefore you will be able to do more in a shorter trip than somebody who's not familiar with Walt Disney World. If you have gone several times, you kind of know what you're doing. You don't necessarily need a long trip, even though a long trip is very nice. Like I said, for us, we really like the 10-day trips, but we have had nice shorter trips as well. If you are going for your first time, or even really your second time, I would suggest at least 6 days, if not longer. If you can swing longer, I really suggest maybe looking into a 10-day trip, because we found that it's extremely nice. You can go at a very leisurely pace and still be able to accomplish a lot and not feel rushed. So hopefully that helps you guys kind of figure out what kind of time frame you want to go for your Walt Disney World vacation. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you do have any questions or comments, please leave them for me down below, and make sure to hit subscribe. I will have more videos to come soon for you guys. See you later.